got that in the permit chart on
The email just came out this week, but, and this has always been on the Z drive. You could read the entire thing, but the only thing that really pertains is, chapter 9, I believe this is. Yes, chapter 9, purchasing policies, and I just kinda highlighted, equipment over $1,000, no matter the funding source, grant, levy, etc., must have property committee approval. And then later on, it talks a little bit more. Some grants and reimbursements require more stringent purchasing policies. Those guidelines shall govern county policy in those cases. So, and then I believe, as oversight, you wanted those purchases to come to you first, then property, so.
I guess if it comes to us first, that answers that question. But otherwise, sometimes, when we look at this, how do we know if, when we look at the budgets or the thing they send out, how would I know if it's been approved by property or not, sort of?
You have to, the email that came out today was, just reminding us of 2022 purchases and things like that. And in order for you to see it on that list, it has to be listed in My Viewpoint, which is our billing software. And before we put it on there, we're supposed to attach the property minutes, or whatever else we had, the bids, you name it. But that, of course, you don't see, you don't have access to that software, but you could just call us and we can email you those invoices. So it's already in the software before you get that report. So we should have that.
So if it doesn't, if you don't have that approval, you let us know.
Well, on mine I would, but I
Okay, so
don't
everyone's-
look at anybody
Gotcha.
else's.
Yep,
You have 4 other programs there that I don't deal with, so. You'd have to call that
But I guess if it
department.
goes to committee first, we're gonna know anyway.
Yeah, if it goes to committee first, then we're gonna know.
Yeah, cause we'll be ready for it next.
Yeah, I can pull them up, but I don't deal with any of those other departments' bills.
We approved them and discussed it at length, the policy as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of had to at that point, as a month and a half after we already heard someone who received the goods, so that's not a practice I personally don't. I think we probably agreed it, I don't think we agreed this one,
Property net approved. Rather lengthy discussion on why the stuff was purchased and it had no approval and it was over $1,000 benchmark, so.
Well, responsible for the purchases, they were here.
They were there, yes. Yes.
How'd that go?
Not good, I can tell you that.
Secondhand information comment was not there.
Yeah.
Any further questions?
Well, were you, John, were you comfortable then with, probably won't, this should not happen again?
Comfortable with it not happening again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now it's, it's gotta come through this committee and then we move forward. So. It should, yeah.
Card farm money was just being blown out the door.
Yeah.
Didn't notice it until it came through and there it was. It's like, we never seen this. So it's time to get a grip on it. That's a short form answer.
Yeah, pretty much.
That answer.
Any further questions?
Thank you, that was good. Actually, can you send that, I'm sure it's on the zero, right?
Sure, well, you have access to the Z drive, but I can email it to all of you if you want. Because with the ARPA request, it talks about all the bids and, the dollar amount, whether you can do quotes, bids, all of that. That's all in chapter 9 of that, so I'll email you all of that.
Please, thank you.
Okay.
Rich?
Well, as first we started youth program, there was nothing really exciting to
that occurred over the past month. I guess the most exciting factor is that I've finally gotten caught up on all the backlog of cases I was whining about for the last 6 months, so we're pretty much holding our own right now. I did gain 3 cases this last month, and we only knocked out 2, so they're running an issue there. I'm gonna be good right up until spring and the first big juvenile alcohol party they have, and build a big bonfire and invite the sheriff's department to it, and then then I'll be back behind again, but that's okay. I've got 7 active respondents right now. 5 of the 7 are waiting for the escape the vape. Got that scheduled for the 28th of this month, so that will complete everything that those 5 have to do. They've done everything except that right now. I've got 3 of those have continued on the panel with volunteers. I think kind of the neat part is because of the county government day yesterday, I picked up 1 more volunteer for teen court out of that, and I had 2 more a week ago that signed on as volunteers also. So I think that's pretty exciting. The word must be getting out to the schools that it's something of value going forward. So we're working on real good there. Traffic right now, I've got 4 that are working on their sanctions. 3 need to complete the victim impact panel. I want to wait till the 4th one is ready to go on that, and I've got one coming to court next week, so that'll give me 5, so I can run a victim impact panel on that, and get those all knocked out. So that's real good. The Prime for Life was a result of teen court and an unrelated charge, so they have to go through the Prime for Life program. I really don't wanna run that unless I get at least 5 people, but I don't wanna make this individual wait too long to get through it. But like I said, I anticipate as the warmer weather comes and the kids start getting together, I'm gonna pick up several more underage alcohol, going forward on that. Let's see, victim impact, we talked about that. As far as, the involvement in drug court, I on the panel there, as you guys know, for my MRT program right now, I don't have anybody in that, so, they can't really go into that program until they're into step 2 of the drug court program. And we've got 1 that's going into step 2, or Chelsea leave already? We've got 1 going into step 2, I think, next week. I really can't run it with just 1 person, so we'll have to wait till the next one moves up to step 2, and then I can kind of pick up some of the activity there in the MRT. Other than that, got my usual MRT monthly update. I did go to training on Prime for Life. They've changed a lot in that program with more focus on THC. They've added a whole section on THC, so I had a 2-hour update on that, on the instructor certification on that. So that's pretty much it for my end of it. There again, as far as the budget, Crystal could probably enlighten us much more on what my budget is. Basically, my involvement is I call up Crystal and say, can we afford this? That's about where I'm at right now. So, Rick, that's all I've got.
Any questions for Rich?
John, I want to thank you for your presentation yesterday. That really does have an impact on young people.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Thanks, Rich.
See you next month.
Ellen's in court, so Crystal's here from the DA's office.
So for us, the biggest updates are that we are down to 1 prosecutor. Emily Nelson is our ADA. She gave her notice, she gave a week and a half notice, and her last day is Friday. So we are down to 1 prosecutor in the office, which is making things a little bit more hectic, a little bit more complicated as far as scheduling. They did post the ADA position last week at the state level for a new attorney, so hopefully we will see some applicants on that soon. That's just one of those things where until they actually hire someone, we don't have an ETA on that. So Ellen's in a 3-day jury trial now and is handling all of the court, both prosecutors, 2 judges. She's a little bit swamped for the time being. Other than that, I think the biggest thing was that we did receive our reimbursement check from the state for 60,000 and change for all of the expenses we submitted for fourth quarter drug court. They did approve and refund that full amount, and that did come back without any, anything questioned or anything turned down. So that full amount came through that we were eligible for, and that's all back on the books, so. Does anyone have any questions?
Anybody else?
Does that money go into like your account then, the courts?
No, that just goes back to reimburse the county for what was spent. The way the
Oh.
grant works, they approve us for, I think it was 123,000 for the year, as long as we meet 40,000-ish for the match. Whatever we don't meet for the match, we can't spend $3 for each dollar we can't meet. So we watch very carefully to make sure that we don't overspend what we're able to claim back. What we spent, which was, under what we needed to be so that we didn't lose anything or have the county have to pay anything back, they reimburse that full amount. So it's money that we already spent for 2022. So now that we're in 2023, at the end of each quarter, we submit basically our receipts and our information, and then they reimburse back for the previous 3 months. That's how that system
So
works.
this match, was that what Judge Barnett was talking about like a couple meetings?
So the match is, well, so for 2022 is now complete and paid up, and they paid back that full 60,000, so everything that we spent, they did refund. So, the only portion that the county actually paid in 2022 is the match of Rich's MRT time. We were not, thankfully, we had enough that even that study that they undertook, they allowed us to have that reimbursed from the county instead of out of the contingency like it was approved. So as far as that goes, we were great for 2022. For this year coming up, because we are short on match, so, and it's things that we have no control over, like our cost allocation for the room upstairs, and what finance determines is the amount that we can claim back for the square footage of the room and IT and finance and that kind of thing has changed over the years from at one point where we were able to claim back approximately 15,000 as a match. This coming year, we're only eligible for under 6,000, so we're about 9,000 short there, which just means that 9 times 3, so 27,000 less that we can spend before the year's out. And then anything more that we spend has to actually come back under that. So even though our budget is a certain number we're approved for, that's only if we have enough to meet the match. So we just monitor throughout the year so that we don't overspend what we're eligible for unless the county is willing to approve. You approve $1 we spend, we get to claim back another 3, but it's kind of a balancing act that we have to watch as the year goes on, depending on how much treatment is needed and, a lot of variables outside of our control.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Me, Lois? Thank you.
And Lori, is not here, she's on vacation, I think.
Well, trails in then, Sharon. Lois?
No report, we haven't had a trustee meeting, or a board meeting, since last year. Our next one is April. Nothing happening at Trails, and we're just waiting until the snow melts.
Good luck.
Has anybody been, I can't talk. Anybody been over there and looked at how bad the
Yes,
damage was there?
yes, Cece had sent pictures, yeah, she's been attempting to work out there, but mainly she's just working on projects inside of the Ebling Hall, cause the trails are just so covered, you have to wait until the snow melts, and we've already talked to Tom Hall about possibly getting some assistance, but since we're a park, or under that park category, none of the FEMA money will cover it, so, looking at getting some inmate crews in, but the snow melts. Oh, yes, yes, a couple weeks ago I booked another one for 2024, so, yeah, it's still looking good, and June is absolutely insane. Normally July is the insane month, and June has hardly anything in it. Yeah, hardly any vacancy in June, so,
Good.
yeah.
Well, might as well look right at you again, extension office.
Oh, Mary's here.
Oh, sorry, didn't see you back there.
Well, we're a team.
Come on up so we can all hear.
Yes. Speaking of busy summers, we've got one planned in the extension office. Yesterday we had government day, thanks to Char's expertise. It went very well. I was happy to experience the good connections with the schools that came. So looks like we'll have more connection there, and I'll go in and talk to them about different things in the future.
I have pictures if anybody wants to look at
There's
pictures.
lots of pictures. It went really well.
Yep.
And
Yep, here's some people that you know. But this room was packed. And one school backed out because of schools were closed on Monday. It's the last week of trimester. I don't know how we would have fit another whole, 10 people in here. Animal shelter came on site there in the small conference room, brought some cats. This is forestry doing a presentation, land and water conservation department. The library, they came in, did a presentation, and then we did a super cool jail tour. Had a lot of fun there. And American Legion bought pizza, so kids obviously liked that. And then this is Bob Franzen, he's a county commander. He talked about AMVETS and did really well while the kids were eating. And we had like 6 vets here that stayed the whole day. That was the best vet turnout, I believe. And then they had to go around and do bingo. They all had a bingo card. So they had to go ask questions to all the departments and get stamped, and then we had prizes. So when we asked during wrap up, what was the funnest thing you did today? Bingo! That and pizza, Yeah, but so they had to go to departments and get stamped. Pete Jones came down and gave a little courtroom etiquette because the kids got to go to court then. But yeah, it was. Hopefully they took some phenomenal memories away. I know I experienced several yesterday. It was super cool. So.
again, thanks for the pictures. These are some handouts we gave the youth if you'd like to see them. This is talking about their application for youth and governance. So every one of the youth attending yesterday took one of those home. Going forward, it would be nice to talk to some board members about mentor on the board. If you do get applicants to these positions, who would be their mentors, just to make sure we have good communication. That those applications are open until the 25th of March. Besides that, we finished our goose chase for Groundhog's Day, and now we have another goose chase, which is a virtual scavenger hunt open from today through the 15th, where we have the county courthouse teams taking on the school teams to see who are the experts and who wins bragging rights for understanding courthouse and local governance. So if you'd like to join, you download the Goose Chase app. There's actually a flyer, so you could all join as well. This would be a perfect team, these 5 members here.
Must be talking about you guys.
Besides that, we talked about a global event online last month. So we had our second global event, 50 families had signed up. We had a few more this time. We'll have our third in a series on March 21st, where youth and community members are welcome to join, where international students living in Wisconsin talk about what they love about living in Wisconsin. They talk about their country and learn about some global events. We also have a new event coming up. I put in a grant application for Rusk County youth to be bused to the Air Adventure. How many of us have been to Air Adventure in Oshkosh?
I was there when I was a kid. That's been a while.
It's your turn to go back, so. we'll have-
Yep, okay. Actually, it's a good time.
Yeah, so we'll have a bus leaving from the
That's
north
when,
on the 25th of July
July,
in
okay.
the morning, coming back in the evening. We'll also have a bus leaving, there'll be a bus leaving from southern Wisconsin, so 42 youth from around the state will meet at the air show. So we have a grant on that for $7,500, looking pretty promising. What else? We we did some source sessions with our leaders and our volunteers with 4-H, and they had asked for better communication, like all of us would like. So we created a new calendar for 4-H. If you'd like to look at it, it is rusk4h@gmail.com. That's the email, and there's a calendar associated. We'll upload it to the extension website. And we're looking to make sure we have more of the meetings on there and events for 4-H. Besides that, looking forward, I'll be helping with the ed tent at the fair. We're still determining programming there. Here's a flyer for Oshkosh if you want to see it. Thank you.
Anybody got any questions for Mary? Thank you for what you put together yesterday and for moving the stuff forward.
Char was our secret weapon yesterday, let's be honest. You're welcome.
Jesse, Fair Board, Fair Residence.
Well, that's the night, that's the night.
Not on your, that's on the next one, no, Fair Gallons. Yep.
Okay, so, fair board. So we, for Charmaine will pull up a bunch of numbers, I think we also looked at last, do you wanna look for them, just in case they don't see it?
Oh, yeah,
It's the last
this was in your packet, if you want more detail, let me know. The annual report, I told you about it last month, and you wanted to look at it.